I'm trying to mess around with the sound of my microphone.
Okay.
Trying to find a better sound. Yeah, I didn't achieve much. So.
Well, you sound fine to me. My gosh, what was that? No. Why do I do this?
When you sound, what was that? Like,
I know.
what were you trying to say, though? You're sounding fine to me?
Fine to me. You sound fine to me.
Well, you sound
We're off to a great start, folks.
Wow. You started.
I know. I know.
Hey, guess what?
What?
I've lost 4 pounds.
That's awesome.
I think I might have gained it all back last night, though.
Yeah? Did you maybe lose it again today?
Not sure I lost it all back, but I had a great day today, like as far as my calorie deficit goes. But last night I binged like a motherfucker.
Well, those are going to happen, but you feel good today.
I'm a little disappointed we didn't get any emails this week.
I know, right?
Are you listening to us, folks? Is there anybody out there that's listening? I'm looking at our stats, and it looks like you guys are listening. There's people listening. But I'm curious. I want to hear from you. I guess we're not offering you like, hey, email us and you'll win $100 or you'll win tickets to go see Barney live.
Barney? Where did that come from?
I have no fucking clue.
Of all things, you could have said Barney. He's like the first thing that comes to mind.
You're so funny. What's going on?
Oh, not much. How are you feeling?
What do you mean? How am I feeling?
What do you mean? What do I mean? Like, did you already forget that you were recovering from like pneumonia, COVID, Lyme disease? Like, that was just last week. Did it affect your memory?
Well, I'm sure it did.
Okay, all right.
But the Lyme, I think. I think the Lyme has. I think the Lyme turned to yellow. We're not sure if it's better or worse. We're gonna wait and see. That's what the doc says.
Is it maybe jaundice?
Could be. You know, my grandmother. My grandmother died of pancreatic cancer a long time ago. But God bless her heart. She's my angel in the sky. She'd be laughing right now at me. Did I say angel in the sky?
You did.
God bless her heart. She's my... She's my angel up in heaven. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh my God. All right, do you want to try that again?
I don't even know where I was in my story, so I have no idea.
So you talk about your...
God bless her heart, died of pancreatic cancer.
You can't laugh.
She had jaundice at the end. So maybe. It runs in the family.
Oh my god.
Well, my grandmother, I'm sure she's laughing right now. She knows I'm joking around and having fun. And if she's not, she'll let me know.
So yeah, so the Lyme disease you think is either gone or turning into jaundice. Okay, and how about like the pneumonia and COVID?
I didn't say it's turning to jaundice. I said it's turned yellow.
Okay,
And we don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like
all right. I said jaundice.
if it turns red, you know, it might go back green. It's like COVID, you know. You just never know where it's gonna go. So right now we're in yellow, and we'll see what's up. But that's for my Lyme.
So, but where exactly is the yellow now? Like you said, it turned yellow.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you know,
what?
Lyme is like green, so I was a mild case, but it just kicked up to yellow, which they're not sure if it's better or worse because they think maybe it's jaundice. Well, is jaundice better than my, you know, a heavier case of Lyme disease? They're not sure.
But did you like physically see this color change somewhere?
Oh yeah, I changed overnight.
Yeah, but where?
My body, my body was lime color, and now it's yellow. So,
all right, I think we're good with the Lyme disease update. So how's the other two?
my pneumonia is not better yet.
No.
Not yet. It's gonna be a while still, probably.
And how's the COVID that you don't have?
So far, so good. No symptoms. No symptoms.
No kidding.
You know, it's weird.
So for the poor souls that have not listened to our last episode, which was episode 10, Marty had decided that he was going to self-diagnose himself with different kinds of diseases. So
What a mess.
yeah, what a mess. And I did not get any warning at all that this was going to happen. So I was so confused. But yeah, he ended up with pneumonia, COVID, and somehow Lyme disease. So, so yeah, I just wanted a recap and just to make sure you're okay. We had a couple of listeners that actually checked in on you. You know, one of them was my friend, so she asked how you were, and then when you did a live on Facebook the other day, one of the people that were on your live asked how you were doing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, everything's good. So we're good to go for now. Unfortunately, in our region, we just went back to orange phase, meaning that the cases have gone up. The COVID cases have gone up. And so we're down to like the one family bubble.
Which is supposed to be your household, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Why is people not respecting that?
Well, people think that it's like your household plus an extra house. Like they think it's like a one family bubble.
Oh, really? Who thinks
Right.
that?
I don't know. I just saw people on Facebook like just commenting that they had gone to visit the whatever. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
It's
Well.
all a little confusing, I must admit, for
Oh
everybody.
yeah, it is.
It's not confusing for me because I mean I don't go out much anyway these days. So
Yeah.
with the whole COVID, and I mean I don't have any reasons to be going out other than when I go to groceries or go take walks or stuff like that. But I'm not going to go out for no reason.
Yeah. There's no point, and we need to do what we got to do to lower the cases so that we can get back to normal at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. Normal is a little ways away. I think it probably, you know, I think it really has to do with a lot has to do with the vaccines. So
Yeah. I think fall is probably when we're going to start feeling the new normal. Fall, winter, spring of 2021.
We shall see.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, I just hope that people can kind of just respect the whole deal and try to. But whatever, I don't honestly. Swear to God, I'm home. I'm trying to be careful, and that's all I can do. So
Exactly.
whatever. I can't control anybody else. I don't pay attention to any of the propaganda or the comments or the people throwing stuff about COVID out on social media and stuff. I really don't get wrapped up into that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pointless. People are getting fired up for nothing. And that's where divisiveness comes. I'm like, seriously, yes, it can be frustrating. Some certain things can be frustrating, but just try to see the positive of your day and try to turn people's attitude in a positive way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I know in Canada, like we're called like the green, yellow, orange, and red phases, but like I don't think that it's like that for everywhere, right?
I don't know. No idea.
Yeah, I just thought about that because I know like we talk about like the colored phases sometimes, but then I'm like, maybe like the people that listen outside of Canada don't know like what we're talking about, like from phases.
Do we have listeners outside of Canada?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Hmm.
Like where?
Well, we have some in the States, and we had a couple outside there, like when we checked on Anchor.
That's awesome.
And don't forget we share. Don't forget we share overthinking and anxious on Instagram, and we have it on TikTok, right? So.
True. I've been in touch chatting with Julien Dionne, which is another fellow podcaster. His show's called the Julien Dionne Podcast or the Julien Dionne Show. Not sure, actually. Hang on. Let me double check that.
Okay.
Let me double check that here. Mm-hmm.
Where is he from?
The Julien Dionne Show. I think he's from around where we're from, around here.
Okay.
He's a stand-up comedian, and he talks a little bit about everything, and he plays a couple songs during his podcast, and he does it at 7 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, I've been kind of chatting, just briefly chatting back and forth with him. I think maybe he lives in Ontario right now. I don't know where he lives, but he's got a pretty cool podcast. And so I reached out to him about his podcast, and I kind of started tuning into his podcast and just kind of wanted to get a feel because I think he's from my hometown. And just to like get a feel for what he's doing because it really looks sharp. Like his set, his set looks good. And I wanted to see what the content was. All of a sudden, start listening to the content, and I'm like, holy shit, he's got good stuff. And it's like there's some funny stuff. He's actually playing some good tunes. It's cool for the people, the 7 a.m. people, like that they can tune into iHeartRadio and all those things and listen like if they're commuting or driving, whatever. I'm sure he has a lot of people that tune in at 7 a.m. because he's live at 7 a.m.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Which is awesome. But anyways, very cool show. And so what I kind of proposed was like, look, man, I'm super like a virgin in the podcast world, and still getting my feet wet, and so is Putty's, of course, at this point. And so we any opportunity we can have to chat about the possibilities or tips and tricks or whatever, just share knowledge about the podcasting scene or the podcast world with people that have maybe been doing it a little longer than us or that have a little bit more experience, whatever the case, right? So he's all for it. He's like, yeah, dude, of course. Yeah, da, 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 da. So I was like, let's set a Zoom meeting, and yeah, cool. Da, da, da. So
Well, that's awesome.
it's really cool. He's on Instagram, and like the video of his shows on there. I don't know. He's well organized. I like what he's putting out there. So, at any point or another, if you can kind of identify a style or something that you like about somebody, or just the way that they're organized, you can feed off of that kind of energy or what they're putting out, and you can kind of try to understand. And of course, if they're kind enough to want to get together with you and chat about it, then you just seep the knowledge and you exchange. And of course, at one point or another, something I'm going to say or you're going to say is maybe going to resonate with him. And next thing you know, we all kind of go away with something.
No, that's awesome though. I mean, any help that we can get, right? I think we both want the podcast to grow and have a lot of listeners. So any way that we can change it up. And I mean, we do have a lot of stuff like that's going on that we're working on. So that's exciting as well.
Yeah, I think people will be pretty amazed.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, what's up? Tell me. Did you see?
Did I see what?
What happened?
Yes, I did see what happened.
Yeah.
I know you saw what happened because you were like
Fully tuned in.
fully involved yesterday with the television and the internet and everything.
Yeah, I was definitely involved. It's pretty sad. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it is pretty sad. It should never ever get to anything like that. That is not how humanity should be. The fact that people rioted, that people got hurt, to support someone who, in my eyes, should not be supported. In the way how they were almost defended or still loved or appreciated by him. There was not enough done to protect who was there. It seems like they were not prepared, and when decisions had to be made, they were not made quick enough. There was too much hesitation.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I agree. Yeah, I know. I agree 100%. It was barbaric and absolutely shameful, and not the way that a country should be led. It was anarchy at its best. It was not patriotism. I would probably say most of the Republicans across the U.S. were not supporting that. Were not happy with that.
Oh, absolutely not. Like, how many of the Republican senators kind of like stepped back from their original stand?
Yeah. So it's too bad. It's too bad. The president leaves a sad legacy behind in a term that was 4 years. I mean, it's not. It feels like forever.
Oh, it feels like he did like 3 terms in a row at least, but hopefully good changes are coming, and it's going to take a while to kind of repair the damage that was done. But
yeah, because there's a lot of divisiveness, and that's what's a little concerning, because it's so hard to agree now these days. To be honest, it freaks me out at times. It's like people are so intense. That's what leads to violence. This is not debate. This is clear divisiveness. People cannot agree on anything, even though they have the same values and the same principles, and they shit the same way in the morning, and you know what I mean? They fucking eat macaroni. Whatever, They make macaroni the same way. Whatever, I don't care.
Sorry, all I can think about is your $50 shit.
you have to bring that up on the podcast? What?
Well, we
You're
can
gonna bring up
edit
a
it.
$50 shit on the podcast? Like, I'm trying to create a flow here. You're doing all shit that we're gonna edit out.
Hey, we're having like a Freaky Friday moment.
Because I had a moment where I realized that I was taking a $50 shit because I ate so much lobster the night before. I thought fucking in the morning, I thought, wow, this is a $50 shit. Like, this is crazy. Sit down, get comfortable, turn on a movie, do something. Like, it's a $50 shit. If I take a $50 shit,
Better make it a good one.
better make it a good one.
Like, where do we go from here?
Well, you started.
I know, and like we haven't even done our like normal like, are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? So weird.
Did we start the podcast?
I don't know.
Okay, well, are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome everyone to episode 11 of Overthinking and Anxious. I'm Paris.
I'm Marty. And yeah, episode 11.
So, what do you want to talk about? What was that? All right. Are we getting into it?
Sure. We must have enough content for a show, eh?
Are you kidding me right now?
What?
We talked about how you're feeling, like a recap on your diseases that you're struggling with.
Mm-hmm.
We talked very little about the fact that you had a bad day yesterday food-wise, but you're like dialed back in.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked a little bit about like you're smoking, but then you're like, no, I don't want to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about what happened in the States yesterday. And then we talked about like the fact that we're not getting any emails and we're wondering if we have listeners. And you talked about the other person's podcast, Julien.
Right?
And
That's
we
not a
talked
show?
about,
Sounds like a show to me.
I can't tell if you're kidding. Because
No.
I'm
We don't have enough to make a show?
no.
Oh, okay.
Like what we talked about so far is like some of the stuff that we normally talk about at this before we even start the podcast, just to shoot the shit.
All right, well, so we have a whole show to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am.
I know I already asked you if you were ready, but then I think you got confused and you confused me, so I just needed to make sure you were actually ready.
So, Paris, on episode 11, what the hell we talking about? Girl?
Girl.
As I watch mobs of people storm Capitol Hill yesterday on TV right now, I should probably turn the TV off.
Yeah, so that you're not distracted. And then like 5 minutes into the podcast, say, okay, I think we got a show. What is it? Throw Marty under the bus night?
But all I can say is that was a wild day yesterday.
It was.
A little ridiculous if you ask me.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It was a little much, for sure, and did not need to happen. So we're like 1 week after the holidays and New Year's and all the shenanigans, and the pandemic, as we expected, kind of like had a rise in cases. So we're like not in confinement, but like we can't see as many people as we normally can. So I really feel like there's probably a lot of people out there that are feeling crazy lonely.
Probably.
Like literally we just spent time with like close family or whatever. Some like of course went all out, but you know, we were able to see people over the holidays, and then, you know, now we're like we can't at all, like zero, except for your own household. So I think it's important that we talk about like the feeling of loneliness and how to kind of like deal with that. Like, what do you do? Because oftentimes when you feel lonely and you don't deal with it, you have a lot of anxiety. Some people go into depression.
Yeah, it can be rocky times for sure, and you can get into a rabbit hole of just swirling down into a dark place.
Yeah, for sure. I think so. The feeling of loneliness is because you're alone, basically, right? So I think one of the important things is to kind of figure out like what is it about being alone that you don't like, um, and trying to find things that you can do to kind of like distract yourself from that or change or whatever the case is.
I always refer to meditation and breathing. I'm a big fan of breathing and knowing that I'm breathing and realizing that I'm breathing and feeling that I'm breathing and really attaching a lot of the emotions on the action of breathing, because you know that you're bringing new oxygen into your body, and that's helping your blood flow. It's helping everything. So it's really becomes sort of a meditational concept when I'm walking. I like that. I like doing that. I feel it gives me a certain charge in my day. The way that I start my days are pretty late mornings now, because I'm kind of an owl, so I love working at night, and I love to do anything that I'm doing. I love doing it at night. Like right now, 11:33 p.m. we're shooting a podcast. My mornings usually start pretty slow. Have a coffee, and then kind of just. And what I appreciate from, and I'm talking about, this is COVID time, orange phase. You asked me a question. I'm still answering your question. So you looked at me with a pair of eyes, like as if you thought I was confused, but I'm not. I'm trying to explain to you how my day starts during this COVID period
Okay.
in the last year, basically, because we've been like, bouncing from whatever phase, but it's still been pretty much COVID time.
Yeah.
And so usually I'll wake up pretty late. So I usually start with a coffee, and I have nothing going on in my house. A coffee and me. Because the minute I open my phone, it's like hecticness, Somebody's messaged, somebody's liked, somebody's commented, somebody did something crazy and it's on social media, or somebody did something cool, or a tweet explode, or one of my posts is doing good, and big number. There's always something drawing you in once you open it up.
Yeah.
So in the morning, I have my coffee, and I just keep quiet, and I appreciate the quietness, man. Buddies, I'm not no guru here. I'm just normal and learning just like everybody else, and really just finding myself again
Mhm.
after a few years of depression and really a tough part of my life. And just the last couple of years have been, on the incline and doing better. And especially the last year, which, has really been going uphill. But I'm still working on it, still trying to find myself. So that's what I connect with people when I do conferences with, before COVID. And it's just the fact that I don't have all the answers. I wish I did, but
Mhm.
I'm just as anxious as you. I'm just as struggling as you, man, at times, and sometimes this confinement is just as hard and tough on me as it is on you. And I don't have all the answers, and I'm not running around looking for all the answers either, because then that can get confusing too. Because you
Yeah.
can get wrapped up into like trying to find all the answers all the time and trying to be, and then that gets intense too there. So the most, I don't know, there's something about there's just something about trying to find that balance out of trying to be consistent every freaking day until that it becomes really a part of your life, and that because all the things that you're consistent about are good for your health and good for your mental health. So in turn, it's keeping you active, it's keeping you sharp, it's keeping you dialed in these really extremely challenging times for some people, including me, including you. Actually,
Yeah.
yeah, these really challenging times, period, for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I think that these challenging times have kind of forced us to, be more alone, whether you like it or not. And I think that it's important for us to kind of like really reflect on how that makes us feel. Because I don't typically feel like alone. Like I'm okay with being alone, like on a regular basis. Like I'm okay with that.
I love
But a
being
lot of people,
alone. I love being alone.
yeah, like,
You know that, eh?
yeah, I do. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of people don't like being alone because either they just love being around people, which is fine. But a lot of the time it's because they don't like who they are. So why would you want to be alone with someone that you don't enjoy, that you don't love, right? So I think it's a matter of taking the opportunity to reflect on where you are in life and why you may not be happy with who you are, and make the changes that are necessary to make you happy. And I think we have to be creative during this time on how we spend our time. So technology has been like a huge thing during this pandemic. So just find other ways to talk to people if you need to or if you want to. If you like visit friends on a regular basis or talk to your family on a regular basis, whatever the case is, still do that. Yeah, you'll have to do it through social media, on your phone, or whatever the case is, but don't stop doing what you love. Just find an alternative to it, and it's going to be a temporary alternative, but you got to find something, because when you cut something out of your life that you love, it's hard to adjust. It makes the times that are already hard even harder when they don't really have to be.
That's really great advice, buddies. And try to create a little vibe with the family. Just do it by like a Zoom sesh on Sunday afternoon. You know, everybody make yourself some food or whatever. Sit at the table and we'll all chat. You know, each at our table, or we'll do it after supper or before supper, whatever.
Yeah, we just got to be creative, and this is the time to kind of figure out new things that you love that you didn't even know, like just discover new hobbies, or I don't know, something.
Absolutely. I really like the ideas too of like a lot of people have gone online, you know, whether it be speakers or counselors, even like big companies are really doing some cool stuff online now for their staff. You know, many companies have had their Christmas parties online this year or
Hmm.
last year, and you know, a lot of them really enjoyed it. Like I was talking to one of my assistant coaches, and they had it online. He said it was a really good time, and
Yeah, we had it online as well. So all of our employees are virtual, including the managers. So it's been a lot. It's been different and difficult. Don't get me wrong, but I think that we've done a good job at like adapting to the virtual world. And for our Christmas parties, we still had them, but we had them virtually.
mhm.
For all the managers, they actually had a chef who gave us like a grocery list that we needed to buy prior to our staff party.
Yeah.
And he actually taught us how to do a 3-course Mexican meal. I mean,
Mm,
how crazy
That's
is that?
funny. That's funny.
Yeah, it was amazing. So like we were all on Zoom, and then the chef actually had 3 Zoom cameras. So there was one camera on the stove area, there was one on him, and one on his cutting board area. So we could literally see everything he was doing.
That's really cool. So that is adapting to the times, and I've been thinking the last few weeks about all that, and really accepting what's going on, and really saying like, okay, well, you can't sit idle.
We have to be prepared that this is going to be for a long time, and there's going to be a lot of back and forths between the yellow phase and the orange phase, or maybe a full confinement again. Like, we have to be prepared for that. And one of the biggest reasons why we have to be prepared is we want to make sure that our mental health is okay and that we continue to be healthy throughout this pandemic, and not let ourselves go into depression, or if you're already in a depression, go into a deeper depression. Because I mean, you and I have both had depressions, and they're not fun. They're horrible. They're like the darkest part of my life. And I would never want to go back, ever. So you have to be careful.
It's trying times, I guess, is what we can say. The last year, very challenging for everyone to adapt, but I think in most cases everybody's adapting. It has brought on maybe either some bad habits in some cases, or some tough times mentally,
Yeah,
isolation.
yeah, for sure. It's so easy sometimes to go back to old habits that gave you some sort of comfort. And even though you kind of dealt with that and you overcame the negative comforts, when we're in situations like this and it affects your mental health, and you know puts you closer to a depression or a burnout or anxiety or whatever the case is, it's so easy to go back to those things, because at the end of the day, they were comforts to you.
Mhm. And the answer to that is to, on a consistent basis, try to do certain little things that become a habit, good habits. Even if you still have maybe some bad habits, well, at least if you can throw some good ones in there, you feel good,
Mhm.
and it's a nupper. It's good on morale. It gives you a boost of energy. So at least you're doing some things right and consistently on a daily basis. That was my challenge when I used to try to get into some cycles of, doing better. But this time, in the last year, it's really about always coming back to, even if you have a bad day or a couple of bad days, shit can happen,
Yeah.
and we all get it. But at the end of the day, I really feel like my routine and my good habits, after a day or two, I miss them, and I feel like, oh my God, I just don't feel normal.
Hmm.
So I'm really like in a good habit. And I think it takes time to actually create that habit where it feels second nature.
Yeah, and sometimes it's going to be trial and error, right? Because you're going to attempt a routine, and either after a couple days or after a couple weeks, couple months, it just doesn't work for you. But it's okay. You just got to adjust, and eventually you'll find the routine that works for you. And sometimes, even if a routine works for you for a very long period of time, whether it's months or years, it does happen that that long-term routine does not work for you, because our lives have changed. And for me, like, as I'm losing the weight in my journey, I've had to make different adjustments, because that has affected my mental health. I've had to change my routine. But everything that is happening, whether you're going through a job change or through this pandemic, or you're not seeing your family as much, those are all changes that can impact how your successful routine might not be working anymore.
Hmm.
Oh, I want to say one more thing about like all of that. So we need to do better and be better at recognizing our environment. So we need to make sure that if we see someone who is struggling, but sometimes struggles are not easily recognizable. But if you see a change in someone, please check in on them. Ask them how they are. We need to be better at helping each other out. A lot of people who have never gone through depression or hard time or whatever are not wants to ask for help, might not say anything if you don't ask them how they are.
Yeah, it's definitely important. But anyways, if you are struggling, guys, with all my energy, I'm sending you, good vibes, and I'm really glad that you fell upon this podcast, so at least you can be with somebody and hang out with us for a little bit on a weekly basis, or just power through all our episodes in one night there, depending if you just discovered us. But we've all been there, binge listening or binge watching. But straight up, like, even if you feel like talking a little bit, send us an email or something. And look, we're all going through this in our own ways, and some people, perfectly normal people, have had some struggles in the last year or so.
Yeah, and I think it's super important that we talk about it. I think a lot of us have felt or are still feeling ashamed to talk about like what's going on with us, because it almost makes you feel or seem like you're weak. But it's not the case. You are strong because you're able to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you might have different comfort levels on how you talk about it or who you talk about it to, but you got to find someone or something, right? Now, if you have someone that you can talk to on an individual basis, do that. If you need some of the resources that we have out there, like, please research and find out who you can contact. And I think sharing your story is important. You might not want to share it with the world, and that's okay. But like Marty said, send us an email, and we don't have to share the email on our episodes. You can let us know in the email that you just want to share your story with us. We'll reply to you and just mention that you don't want us to share it. And if you do want us to share your story, because sometimes it's easier for someone else to voice it for you, I mean, we can totally do that. Whatever you guys need, we're here for you guys.
Yeah, and we're not professionals.
We're not.
And Putty's, well, she's like a fucking whatever there, but she's like a unicorn, but whatever. I'm not going to talk about her.
Oh my God, I am not a unicorn. Not at all. I am definitely, I don't know that I would consider myself as normal though, because I don't like the word normal. I am definitely weird, a little crazy sometimes, but I like that. To me, normal is boring, so I like to be weird. And you guys, hear it on the podcast how weird I can be sometimes.
Well, so far, I haven't seen crazy in a crazy way. Like, I see
Oh well,
crazy,
no,
I see crazy in a funny way. But
yeah, that's what I mean. If if ever I get the other kind of crazy, can you just like let me know, and then we can work on that. We can fix it.
yeah, we'll cancel the show. Peace.
Or just go on like hiatus for a little bit until I get all fixed up, and then we come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely I'm at normal, and I'm doing air quotes here. Not a professional either, just we're people that have gone through a lot in life and don't mind sharing our stories, giving our opinions on things, and just listening to what you guys have to say.
And we legit for real care.
Yeah.
We're empaths, and we care. We just care. And it doesn't mean that we can help or heal or fix or, come to, we can't. There's sometimes we might be able to, but you know, at least we're here and we're honest people and we care. So, but anyway, yeah. Yahoo! Enough
Good job.
about that.
Yeah.
You know what I feel like having right now? I just got a craving for.
Is it lobster?
No,
Is it bar clams?
no,
Pepperoni stick.
no.
Mm,
A smoothie, like a homemade smoothie. Yeah.
That's a weird craving.
Yeah. Well, it's just something cold right now would be good and like kind of
Well, do you
icy.
want to pause 5 minutes to go make a smoothie?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Fucking right.
Also, guys, I want to mention, if you are not comfortable at where you are at right now in your life to talk to someone, I think it's still important to voice out what's going on.
What?
Kustiwari bua.
Oh, you're not talking to me?
No, I was just adding something to the podcast while I was waiting. So anyways, super important that you guys voice it out somehow. So whether it's just saying it out loud or maybe writing it in a letter, and you don't have to give that letter to anyone, but just writing it down. I think letting it out, whatever's bothering you, is super important. And eventually you guys will get to a point where you're able and comfortable talking to someone about it. Hi.
Hi.
So while you were gone, what I was telling the listeners is that if they don't feel comfortable talking to someone about what's going on, it needs to come out. So whether you just say it out loud to no one or you write it down in a letter that you don't have to give to anyone, whatever it is, you got to get it out.
Good point. Totally. I got berries in my teeth.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you how the seeds are. You know what we should do one episode? Not today because I'm not prepared, but we should do like likes and dislikes. Like have a list of things and then we both list off our likes and dislikes about the word that we just said.
Can you give me an example?
Like food could be one. So you would list off like your favorite food and what you hate. It could be exercise.
So why can't we do that now?
Because those are the only two examples I have. And I'm fully aware that the last laugh that I just did is going on the episode. Fully aware.
Right. I thought you were going to die, personally. I thought you were choking. And it's like orange face, so I can't, you know?
You can't what?
Well, I'm not with, like, I can't go save you because.
So what could you alternatively do?
Oh. Call 911, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I just want to make sure that you knew what to do because you didn't seem too sure. You were like kind of like acting like, well, there's nothing I can do, so I guess that's it.
Well, there's no options. Everybody's on shutdown.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, everyone's on shutdown, but if I could save someone's life, I would figure it out. Oh man.
What a night to make a podcast.
I know.
Well, it's like that every time, though.
Yeah, but there's different variations.
Hey, with this podcast, you never know. There's like the numbers doubled from episode 10, from episode 9, 10 to 11. Like it's doubled. It's double
Yeah,
it.
did your agent call back, or did our agent call back?
He called, but I was on the other line.
Oh, okay.
I was busy.
Okay. You were busy with the 40 to 50,000 followers that we have?
No, I was busy in another way.
Okay.
Yeah. That won't be on the podcast.
I know. Sometimes I try and I'll say something and very low percentage. I don't have the same skills as you when it comes to saying percentages, but like maybe like 3.41% of the time, those things that you're like, oh, it's not going to be on the podcast, goes on the podcast. So,
Okay.
I know this is also not going on the podcast.
3.41's a pretty good success rate, really. I mean, hey, it means I'm pretty liberal. I change my mind, and I want to please the people I work with 3% of the time.
Anyways, we're going to work on that number, but all good, all good. I'm always up for a challenge.
I don't think you're right anyways, or what?
Okay.
You think you're making up stories again?
Making up stories? I never make up stories.
What are you sniffing?
It's my lip still. I'm not sniffing it. I'm like trying to like put it on my top lip there and just anyways, not on the podcast.
So when I went for my walk tonight, I listened to a Joe Rogan episode with Phil Demers.
Okay.
And Phil Demers is like a whistleblower for the what was it? Marine land
Okay.
in Toronto.
Mhm.
It was a theme park. It is still a theme park, I think. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
So basically everyone loves Marine land. Right? We've all heard that here in Canada. Right?
Right.
Right. You've heard that before?
Yes, I've been there.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, he is an ex-employee that has become an activist and that had some laws passed in Canada to protect whales and walruses and whatnot. So, anyways, obviously, I only went walking for about an hour, so I only listened to about an hour of the podcast so far. So really, I haven't listened to the in-depth of the show yet because if y'all know Joe Rogan, it's usually a 2.5, 3.5 hour podcast. So up to now, we're really kind of scraped the surface in the first hour-ish, but it's really interesting, and I want to see the documentary called The Walrus and the Whistleblower.
That's a cool title.
Him and a walrus called Smooshy.
Hmm.
Walruses are types of animals that now I'm probably going to fuck this whole explanation up because I'm really not that intelligent, actually, but I'm really going based on memory here of what I was listening to in the podcast earlier. Dolphins and whales are very intelligent beings. That's been proven, right? Scientifically.
Yeah.
And so there's something specific about the walrus that when they meet their mom, they imitate and they identify a whole bunch of stuff about their mom that they're never gonna forget. What I'm trying to say is basically this guy, Phil Demers, became a like an animal feeder at Marineland, and then worked up the ranks to developing a relationship with this walrus. And this walrus basically took to him like he was his mother. And once the walrus makes that connection, it's not reversible.
Okay.
So basically, the walrus thought that this guy, Phil, was its mother. So it followed Phil around everywhere around the park. And he has since he quit because the conditions at Marineland were really horrible. And he was seeing a lot of things that he didn't like. So he quit and he started documenting everything. Before quitting, he started documenting everything. But then after, and this and that, whatever. And he's since made like documentaries, short film, whatever. But this here last documentary, I guess it's like the Tiger King of walrus kind of Marineland, kind of, mammal habitats and all this in Canada. And he's gone so far as getting a bill passed to protect large mammals in Canada.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you're there yet in the podcast, but like, did he mention like what happened to the walrus? Because like, if he was attached to him and then he quit, like,
he quit under the conditions that he was going to be allowed to come see the walrus whenever he wanted to and come in through the employee.
You're right.
Because he had this relationship with the walrus, but the park didn't maintain their side of the agreement, and they didn't let him. Eventually, they barred him out of coming.
Wow.
And so he's been fighting for, I believe, now 8 years. Lawsuits. He's been sued. He sued them. It's back and forth. It's a really messed up, twirled up story of passion. And this guy is really all he really wants is to, number one, he wants to see his walrus again, which is now 18 years old.
Wow.
And he also he wants to come to an agreement that Marineland should become a more of a conservation habitat, because they wouldn't survive in the wild, right?
Yeah. Do you think you're going to finish that podcast tomorrow?
Why?
Just wondering.
Oh, that one.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about this one. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
No.
I'm probably going to finish it tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
But I've been trying to find the film. I want to watch the documentary film and I can't find it. I was looking all over.
Did he say it was out though yet?
Yeah, he says where it's out and this and that, but it's like, but it's different in the States than in Canada, and it's like, where is it? I can't find it anyway.
Okay. Well, if I find it, I will let you know.
Yeah, please. But he's really interesting anyways, and this whole subject was kind of heart-wrenching and hard to understand how animals are mistreated,
Yeah.
And then once in a while, like I say, it takes a whistleblower to spill the beans.
I love how Joe Rogan is so all over the place with the subjects or the guests that he has. Yeah, I love that.
Big time.
Makes it interesting for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so we're in orange, so I haven't, all of our games have been canceled.
Still have practices though, eh?
Yeah, still have a few ice times for practices. So we'll have to make up all our games. It's going to be it's not going to be easy to balance the whole season out and figure out what's going on with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, for now, it's ice times, practice only. And
make the best of that.
Yeah. Hey, tell me, what does it take to be a good team leader, like a good leader?
I think that it takes a lot of things. I can't, like when someone asks you what are the top 3 qualities of a leader, there's definitely more than 3, and there's more than the top 3. One of the biggest things that I do as a leader is I care for my people. I think you hear often in companies that people feel like numbers. They don't feel necessarily appreciated. I understand that my agents or whoever, the people that work, that I'm the team leader for, they're the reasons I have a job. I need to make sure that they are cared for and they have my support and that I'm there for them. That's one of the most important part, is just to care about the people, know them, and just make sure that they're valued.
Yeah, right, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you need to be dedicated, you need to be knowledgeable, you need to be confident, all those things, yes, for sure. But caring for the people is probably one of the most important things.
Nice. What are the challenges that come with being a leader?
There's always situations that you have to deal with that are uncomfortable. So there's often confrontational conversations that you need to have, I suppose. Um, Obviously, we're hired to do a job. So when an employee doesn't do the job correctly and from chosen bad behaviors, those conversations can be more difficult. And because I'm a leader that cares for my people, I get emotional sometimes because they're going through things in life, and I get invested because I care, and that's my job to make sure that their welfare is important, their mental health is important. So always asking them like how they are. I get a lot of stories, I hear a lot of stories, and being an empath, I feel that extra, and wishing that you could save the world and make everyone's day brighter, but that's probably some of the most difficult things to deal with.
Interesting.
I'm a very and I mean, I'm going to describe myself this way. I mean, ask the people that work for me, might be different story, but I'm a leader that loves to have fun, loves to laugh, and I love being happy. So you'll always find me being sarcastic, making jokes, or just being funny, just because I like laughing myself and I like making people laugh. And I think it's important at a workplace as well, as long, of course, as you remain professional and you know when it's time to be serious.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like one of the biggest things that I find is super important.
Nice.
But I'm also blunt and honest.
Well, I'm super excited that hockey's coming back. It's coming back in like 8 days. So I'm super excited for that. It's going to be intense. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun.
Do you think your Habs are going to do well this year?
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel about the separation, though, from like the different is it zones, I guess?
Oh, I think it's cool.
Why is that?
It's just something different. Why not?
Do you feel that it's going to give like an advantage to certain teams, though, by
Maybe.
not playing some?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? It might be, but it's going to be different just all around. So,
Yeah. No, I'm excited as well. So I'm actually in a hockey draft.
Oh,
And
yeah, you were saying that.
yeah, in a hockey draft with some of the people that I used to work with. There's 12 of us in the draft, and we're actually picking our players on Sunday, I think. Saturday or Sunday. So we'll see there. But yeah, so we got to do that and then let the season begin. And hopefully I'll rack up a lot of points, make the right decisions, and hopefully you'll help me out there. Not during the draft because that's too busy and we're in orange phase anyways. But
Right.
like during the season, like I have to make pre-game decisions. So sometimes it's a little stressful because I'm like, I can't remember. I have a site that I go on. I can't remember the name there because it's in my favorites, but it just basically like tells me what the lines are going to be like every night.
Mm-hmm.
They update it so I can see like who's in the first, second, third, or whatever. So it kind of helps me which players I'm going to keep and which ones I'm going to bench. So
Okay.
and then you have to pay attention on if your players are injured and how long they're injured for, like because you can only have a certain amount of players like in the injured reserve,
Mm-hmm.
and you can only have a certain amount of players on the bench too. So it's all a process, but it's fun. So I'm excited. I tend to watch more hockey when I'm in a draft. The first night that I had to do the draft, I was so stressed out because I had no idea what I was doing, and it's on an app on your phone, and like
Huh.
that's why it's too bad that you can't see like the draft that I'm doing on Sunday to give you an idea for next year, and then you can join.
You're doing it when?
Sunday, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Takes about like last year it took an hour and a half, I think.
Huh.
Yeah. But what you'll be able to help me with is like those pre-game decisions and stuff like that. So because I have to change my lines every game. And then I get to trade too. So I can trade players to like some of the people that I'm against.
Mm-hmm.
And I can also trade players, like get rid of them and take a player that's still available.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And I don't know, I feel like you would be really good at this, so I don't know that I would want you to play this year against me anyways. Give me another year and give me the opportunity to learn from you from like a player selection perspective, and then we'll play against each other next year.
Always so afraid of losing.
No,
To me.
I'm sorry, what have we played that I've lost?
Nothing. That's the things.
Okay, except
That's the
for the
thing.
200 game there, but yeah, undefeated. So, I mean, not that you've had the opportunity to beat me yet, but
Hey,
hey,
I just want to take a second. I know I do it often, but I want to thank people who listen. It's very cool. It's very cool if you listen. We do this, we have fun, we enjoy it. We do it for the pleasure of sharing and telling some stories and laughing and then sometimes getting serious. But yeah, if you listen, thank you so much. It's really
that's
cool.
really appreciated.
Yeah. And you can check us out on social media. We're everywhere: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. I mean, name it.
We're on it.
Name it, we're on it. Overthinking and anxious. And we want to hear from you. Send us an email, overthinkinganxious@gmail.com. And make sure to take some time for yourself, take some time for some breathing and just some inner focus once in a while, inner check-in, and then share a little bit of the good vibes with the people you love or people you care, or a stranger. A simple smile, a gesture, anything. It'll help somebody. I swear. It's what it's all about.
It is.
So that's that. Take care, guys, and we'll see you next time. Next week, we'll be back with another episode of Marty B's Superb Podcasting. Oh, no, this is Overthinking and Anxious. I'm sorry.
Wow. All right. What would you do without me?
Not much.
Exactly.
Ooh. All right, you think you're all okay? All right.
No, it's
So it's
okay.
throw Marty under the bus night.
No, we just both need each other, so it's good. It's all good. Anyways,
I thought I was getting away. I thought I was getting away with one show that I didn't have to deal with you throwing me under the bus, but well,
you need to stop giving me
chaos,
opportunities.
chaos, just
You're the
like
one. Ah.
just like the Capitol Hill.
Oh my gosh.
No, but for real, guys, peace and love, in the words of John Lennon.
Until next time.
Much love.
Bye.
That's a little weird.
You're a little weird.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, that's better.